morning, Mandeville. I hope you had a lovely half term. This week there have been so many changes to tell you about. We've got 120 children in school and I'm not allowed to see any of them. I see them a little bit in the mornings when they're coming in, but they come in through 4 different ways, so I can't see everybody. They're all very careful about trying to stay 2 metres away from each other though, and once they're in their bubbles, they can't leave their bubbles or talk to anybody else in one of the other bubbles. It's all very strange. Those changes mean that the school is not the same for everybody now like it used to be. It used to be that everybody came to school, did their lessons, played in the playground, everybody had the same opportunities. But now that can't happen. For example, some children, like the Year 6s, some are in school and some are learning at home. Even within one family, school can be completely different now. For example, Darwood in Year 2 is learning at home, but his brothers, Yakub and Akram, are in school doing their learning. And that's because that the government has decided which year groups need to come back first to school. From what I've heard, not everybody is very happy about that in some families. I know Marissa is in school doing lots of learning and having a fabulous time, but let's see what's happening in her big sister Juliet's house.
It's not fair. Seriously, guys. My sister's out learning with her friends while I'm stuck here with my mum. No offence, Mum. And learning and doing my schoolwork while staring at my PS4. I'll see you later, PS4. That I'm not even allowed to play yet. It's not fair.
Oh dear, Juliet, you really don't sound very happy. It might seem like it's not fair, but actually there's a good reason for it. I wonder how many of you have said it's not fair about something in the last few weeks. I bet it's lots of you. I hear it all the time. Last week I heard it in the shops. Somebody in the queue in front of me was saying, "It's not fair. Why should I have to wait in the line when the older people can go in first?" I've heard it in my house too. I hear that a lot. Things like, "It's not fair. Why do I have to empty the dishwasher and she doesn't?" I've heard it in the park too at the weekend. A little girl was saying, "It's not fair. Why can't I go on the swings and the slide?" I've even heard it at school. From a grown-up.
It's really not fair. Why do I have to get up earlier than everybody else and come in and open the school?
It's because you're the one with the keys, Kevin. If you don't come in early before everyone else, nobody can get in. There's a very good reason for that. There's usually a very good reason for why things have to happen the way they do. But sometimes we can get so cross because we can't get our own way that we can't see that reason very clearly. Some of the children in Year 6 who are in school this week have been talking about what's fair and what's not fair and trying to find some of those good reasons for things. Let's have a little look at their video.
Is it fair to ground children?
I think it's not fair if the children don't do something wrong. I think that the parents should be grounded as well if they do something wrong, but not just for fun though.
I agree with parts of what Chloe is saying, but I mostly disagree because parents have lived in this world longer than children have, so they know more about discipline and how to be better behaved than children do.
I think it's not fair to ground children because, well, sometimes they do bad things, but you could just tell them off and not overreact by grounding them.
I disagree with Naya because if you don't get grounded, then you'll never learn from your mistakes.
I think I agree with Elisa. Sometimes grown-ups can see the reason that things have to be the way they are, even when you might think they're just not fair. Try listening to your grown-ups when they explain why something is fair. Of course, sometimes there is no good reason for why something isn't fair. Sometimes it's just the way it is. For example, we don't know why some people get the coronavirus and some people don't. That doesn't seem fair to me. But it just is. But sometimes you're right. Something might not be fair, and it should be fair. It's really difficult to tell the difference, isn't it? I found a really nice story that I'd like to read to you. But I have a job for you to do while you listen to it. Of all the things that are not fair in this story, I would like you to think about whether or not there's a very good reason for that to happen, or because it's not fair and it just is, or it's really not fair and it should be. Listen to my story and then talk to your mums and dads, your brothers and your sisters about all of those things as we go through. It's Not Fair by Amy Krause Rosenthal, illustrated by Tom Lichtenheld. Why did I get the smaller half? Why did he get the bigger laugh? Why can't I have a pet giraffe? It's not fair. Why can't I have curly locks? Why can't I have my own box? Why now? Chicken pox. It's not fair. You get to stay up late. I've got to go up at 8. They said they would, but they didn't wait. It's not fair. Why don't you yell at her? Hey, it was my turn to stir. I don't know. It's all a blur. It's not fair. Why does she get brand new shoes? Why does my team always lose? It's not fair. Why do I get these funny feet? Why she get the window seat? I always get the boring sheet. It's not fair. Why do you get an extra leg? Why am I the sole square peg? Why must I lay all the eggs? It's not fair. Why does she get all the flies? Why does he get all the eyes? It's not fair. Why am I always bottom bunk? Why did I have to go kaplunk? It's not fair. How come she gets all the rings? And why do birds get all the wings? It's just not fair. Why can't books go on and on? No more endings, only once upon. It's not fair. If you can, go back through this book now and look at each page at a time. As you look at each picture, ask yourself these questions. Is there a good reason? It might not seem fair to me, but maybe I should ask someone to explain. Or is it really not fair, and it needs to be sorted out, either by you or by a grown-up? Or is it just one of those things that nobody can control, and it isn't fair? On this page, I think one of them really is not fair and needs sorting out, but the other one might have a good reason that you might not be able to see without asking a grown-up. And I can see a very good reason for this being fair, can't you? I wonder if you can find any of the pages where it's just one of those things that no one can control, and it probably doesn't feel very fair. I can see at least 2, maybe you can see even more. So next time you get cross because you don't get your own way, and you say, "It's not fair," just like Kevin did, try and think about these 3 different things. Is there a good reason? And if you can't see it yourself, maybe you should ask somebody who can. Is it really not fair and it does need sorting out? Very often, this problem is between brothers and sisters, usually little sisters and little brothers. Or is it just one of those things that nobody can control and you just have to accept? I hope my story has given you lots to think about and also to talk about with your parents if you're at home, or your teachers if you're in school doing your learning now. Next week there won't be an assembly because I'm going to move my assemblies back to the Monday mornings where they've always been when we're in school. So next week there will be no assembly, and the week after it will be ready for you all to see at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. That's Monday the 15th of June. I hope you all stay really well, keep learning as much as you possibly can, and especially keep reading. If you're at home, make sure you're sending all your teachers all your work. Photographs and emails, please. Photographs of your work in your books and lots of emails to your teachers. If you're in school, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.